Hello and welcome to Battlefield 4 News episode 85, and this is the final episode looking at the changes in the fall patch. I'm going to take a look at the UI changes, the revive mechanism changes, changes to maps and modes, and finally some changes that have been made to jets. We now have a lot more UI options in game, and the revive system has been improved to make it a bit clearer. So we'll start off with the UI Triage, which is their name for all the HUD and UI tweaks. They've added advanced option for adjusting HUD icons. So almost every icon on the HUD, so player names, Doritos, flags, all of that now has the ability to scale, it has the ability to go transparent, it has the ability to change if you're looking down your sights to if you're just moving around, and you can set it so that you never see some of the HUD elements. So you could turn off friendly player names or enemy player names or friendly icons. You can turn off just about anything you want. It's very flexible, but it does take a while to go through all those options and get a balance for the HUD that you like. A really nice option is that you can now turn off Q giving attack and defense orders. So when you're spotting with Q and you move it over a flag, it will give an attack or defend order on that flag if you're the squad leader. Now you've got the option of turning that off, so Q will just spot. The game mode bar has been updated, so that's the bar that shows you A, B, C, D on conquest and which side is holding them. That bar will now also show you which capture point or objective your squad has been ordered to attack or defend. That game mode bar has been adjusted in Team Deathmatch so it doesn't interfere with the minimap, and the minimap world directions will now show in the Chinese language version of the game. Every element of the HUD, so that is the game mode bar, the mini map, the bullet counter, all of those now have transparency sliders. The red dot reticles on PDWs have been adjusted so that they line up a bit better with where they're shooting and they're a bit clearer to see. Added an advanced gameplay option to change the size of the mini map. You can now make the minimap 200% its normal size if you want, and it scales down so you can make it smaller as well. Added an advanced gameplay option to make the minimap icons auto size to the scale, so when you make the map 200% bigger, the icons are 200% bigger, and added an advanced gameplay option to set the default minimap scale. So you can adjust the default scale of the minimap to either be completely zoomed in, completely zoomed out, or anywhere in between. It's not the fixed default anymore. There have been quite a few changes to reviving. So the revive timer has been added. This is a circular wheel above the character's icon, and that counts down showing you how long you have left to revive them. When your defibrillator paddles are fully charged, there will now be a little beep noise to tell you that you're going to give 100% revive. They fixed a bug that would stop the HUD from being redrawn if you went into the game menu while waiting for a revive, and for some reason they've put the revive timers on there twice. They fixed another bug where you could actually revive a teammate just by rubbing the defibrillators together without actually firing them off, so they would stay charged as you moved around. And they fixed an issue where if two players attempted to revive the same downed teammate, the first person who hit the revive didn't get the points, it was the second person. And as we've seen on one of the previous lists, they've also fixed the ammo boxes and health packs blocking line of sight, so you can now revive through an ammo box, you don't have to shoot it out of the way first. Next up we have some changes to maps and game modes. They've changed the spawns on the carrier in carrier assault mode. So if you're attacking and you're going after the first objective, you will parachute in and the defenders will spawn at that first objective. If that objective is destroyed and moves on to the second, the attackers will still only parachute in, they won't spawn on the carrier. The defenders will still spawn back at B, but the attackers will still have to parachute in. so this gives the defenders at least a chance to try and break out from that second objective and defend it further up the carrier. They've done some cleanup work on the Dragon's Teeth maps, so that's Lumphini Gardens, Pearl Market, Propaganda and Sunken Dragon. They fixed a lot of the invisible walls and little glitchy spots you could get to. That's things like the glitch on the platform on Lumphini Gardens, where you could actually get into the station architecture and hide away where you couldn't get shot, but you could shoot out. They've also made a lot of the rooftops on the maps out of bounds, so that's particularly the tall buildings on Sunken Dragon and Propaganda. On Sunken Dragon you could helicopter onto some rooftops that should have been out of bounds, now they are out of bounds, and on Propaganda you could spawn beacon up onto the roofs of the buildings that surrounded Point A, and you shouldn't have been able to get up onto there either. All the vanilla maps, apart from Dawnbreaker for some reason, have had their rush layout changed. So this was part of the rush improvements and it's made a dramatic difference to most of the maps. Some of them, like Hainan Resort, are still not great rush maps, but they're certainly a lot better than they were before. Another big change is they've disabled Commander on the rush game mode for all maps. So when you're playing Rush now, you won't have commanders just spotting everybody on the field. So these changes have made the Rush mode much more playable and it's a lot more fun. It's only on the vanilla maps and it's going to be on the final stand maps. They're using all the things they've learnt from altering the vanilla maps to make the final stand Rush maps much better. There have been a lot of changes to the Obliteration game mode, and this is to go with DICE's vision of Obliteration being the competitive mode for Battlefield 4. They've reduced the radar sweep on home bases so the commander can't spot everybody at the start of the round. The bombs don't have to be planted in sequence anymore, so in competitive mode you used to have to plant A, B and then C, but that made it a bit too predictable and a bit too easy to defend, so you can now plant them in any order again. They've reduced the time it takes to plant the bomb from 10 seconds to 8 seconds, and they've raised the Obliteration bomb icon over the bomb carrier's head, because a lot of times when you saw the icon it covered up the player at longer ranges, so it was a bit hard to work out how to shoot them when all you could see was the bomb icon moving around. They've made the maps a bit tighter and a bit more direct, so Operation Locker, Goldmud Railway and Zavod 311 have all had their combat area reduced. So this is to reflect that competitive mode is designed to be a 5v5 and the maps were a bit wide and had too many routes for 5 people to defend. On Goldmud Railway they've also tweaked the spawn points and fixed a problem where the bomb could end up going out of bounds, and then when that killed a player nobody could get the bomb. They've blocked the pipe access to the rooftops on Zavod 311, so you now can't run up the oil pipes and catwalks that lead from the US side of the buildings up onto the rooftops, because there isn't an equivalent way of getting to the rooftops from the other side. It's far easier to run up those catwalks than it is to try and climb the ladders. There have been quite a few changes to jets, but as I don't often fly a jet, I can't really tell you what the effect of them is, just what they are. So they fixed a glitchy chase camera that would sometimes look straight up and straight down and not realign itself. They've added new positions for third person view of jet cameras, and they've added a weapon reticle for the third person view jet camera. So this means you can aim your guns while in third person. Before there wasn't a reticle and people would just put little marks on their screen. They've added an option so that you control the camera a bit better in third person view. You can now stop the camera rolling with the jet, it will stay horizontal. And they fixed an issue where the Su-50 and the F-35 didn't have the right bullet noises when your plane was getting hit. They've reduced the visual recoil of jets by 30%, so when the guns fire you'll still get some visual recoil, but it has been toned down a bit. and they finally fixed the stall behaviour of jets when they reach the maximum height ceiling. So you don't just get stuck on the ceiling anymore, the jet will automatically start to go down. And finally, they fixed the attack jet's cockpit geometry so that it doesn't clip over the hood. So out of those, I'm guessing the biggest changes are the third person camera reticle and the fact that you don't get stuck on the max height ceiling anymore. So that's it. That's all the details from the fall patch notes. It's taken 40 minutes to go through them all. It's been a really extensive patch. There are a lot of good changes in it, some that are a bit iffy, but overall this patch is pretty good. Now I have finally got the patch working. It did take a complete reinstall of the game, but I can now play rounds without crashing out. So over the next week I'll do videos on the individual elements showing you how they affect the gameplay. And that's it for this episode of Battlefield 4 News. These patch notes have taken a while to get through, but it has to be done. Thanks for watching.